Hey everyone. Okay, so obviously one of the first things to talk about with this episode is that after learning what's happening to him, Sanji rightfully has a freak out with so many questions running through his mind a mile a minute about what's going on with him, and probably more than anything if what Reiju told him was a lie, that ultimately his mother actually failed in her attempt to ensure that at least one of her sons remained human, and that she gave her life for nothing. But ironically enough though, and even more so, just wondering from that, how is this going to affect my relationship with my friends? What am I going to be feeling? Am I even going to even feel anything towards my friends after this? But here's the thing, the one thing Sanji is failing to realize is, at least in this moment, is that while Sora couldn't prevent him from inheriting the same physical enhancements as his brothers that his father forced upon them, she still succeeded in the most important way, preserving Sanji's humanity. All of his feelings, all of his emotions, everything that makes him the kind, compassionate person that we know Sanji to be, is all still clearly intact. The fact that Sanji is even panicking in the way he is during this episode, so gripped by his own dread, and maybe even by his own dread of becoming like his brothers, an emotionless shell like his brothers, and maybe even a slight bit of guilt, is proof of that he is still very much human. He's just human with some few augmentations to him. He just needs that moment to calm down and rationalize this pretty much new reality that he's facing. In fact, there's a real irony to this, that I'll go so far as to say, despite Sanji's feelings of dread at becoming like his family, he is an ironic example of the perfect soldier Judge wanted to create with those genetic experiments. Like all the shit that his family gave him about being a failure, about being a loser, all that shit, for basically not being what they were. Sanji is actually the perfect success of Judge's experiments, where you could say the others are actually failures. Because as we pretty much saw from Whole Cake Island and the events of the Tea Party, stripping one of their emotions will only get them so far. But a soldier, a person who is both physically and emotionally conditioned is the one that can go the distance. And when you just take a moment and look at the big picture when you look at Sanji's augmentations, when you combine that with Sanji's intuition for battle, like the fact that Sanji has a clear focus on the opponent before him, always thinking as many steps ahead as he can in order to outsmart his opponent. The fact that he still maintains all of that, it really does make him the perfect human, because Sanji can make those rational judgment calls, like during a battle, while still having the durability awarded to him by those augmentations. It's just a matter of Sanji like taking a moment to calm down and finding his own personal emotional balance, and just accepting that these are both sides of himself that he needs to come to terms with. And again, I really love it for that. Beyond that, though, the rest of the episode is basically us catching up in one area after another of Onigashima, setting the stage for things happening in the backdrop of the fight with Kaido and Big Mom, like Apu attempting to bargain with Drake, and Kanjuro seemingly about to make his final stand on orders from Orochi. Which, Orochi, you have no pride to speak of, motherfucker. Don't even pretend like you do, okay, bitch? Okay, stupid ass bitch. Just saying. Of course, the biggest one out of all of those setups is that CP0 is starting to make their own moves, in making an attempt to capture Robin. Which, okay, a bit of a spoiler for the anime onlys watching this, but Robin is gonna make it out of this whole ordeal all right. If you're going into this with, I hate to ruin it and the suspense for people, but if you're getting worried that Robin is going to get captured by the government again, there isn't really anything to worry about. Trust me. Just touching on that for a minute, I remember back when I was reading the manga, feeling more than a little disappointed that the whole idea of Robin getting captured didn't really go anywhere in this arc. But the more I thought about it, I think it's one of those things where Oda possibly felt he would have been retreading old ground if it was CP0 succeeded in capturing Robin. And secondly, at this point in the story, if there is ever a time where this does happen with Robin, I think it's more than likely Blackbeard is going to be the likely candidate in order to pull off the deed, because Blackbeard has firmly positioned himself as the endgame antagonist. So it only makes sense that if Robin were to be captured again, that it would happen right in the big penultimate moment that sets up the final battle with Blackbeard, which frankly we are honestly getting fairly close to in the manga. So we'll know for certain if that's Oda's plan or not. And yeah, aside from all that, this episode, there's not a whole lot else to talk about. This was an episode where animation was pretty even-tempered. There wasn't anything bad about the animation this week, but nothing really stood out either, aside from maybe the final moments of the episode with Kaido and Luffy's clash. But with that said, the preview for next week's episode does look very promising, as we're really getting into the fight I've been hyping up so far to this point, Big Mom versus Kid in Law, which, yeah, even though Big Mom has been thrown around and Kick kind of nerfed a bit in this arc, this fight is still a highlight to me because it gives that genuine feeling that I think has been honestly missing from honestly a lot of One Piece fights, in even Luffy versus Kaido, which is that there's never a feeling like there's never really been too much of a feeling that there's never been that feeling of escalation, I guess you could say, like that feeling like each opponent brings something new that allows that gives our characters that sense of struggling in order to overcome a mountain of an opponent or something like that, a mountain of a person with strength. With that rivals like gods themselves, kind of thing, I guess you could say. And even though we do get that with Kaido, I do admit there are moments where the struggle to defeat Kaido seems a little bit artificial for the sake of tension, whereas Big Mom, I don't know, it just feels like the struggle to defeat her always feels more natural to me. I don't know, but it's just something I notice. But yeah, guys, that's pretty much all I got for this review. If you enjoyed the video, like, comment, subscribe. I'm on Twitter, Analyst Crunchyroll. Be sure to notification bell, subscribe button, and just share the video around, guys. Dark Knight of Anime, signing off. Later, everyone.